move into top 5. What have you got for number 5?
To be honest, I haven't actually put these in any order, so I'm just gonna just throw them out there. These are five of my top games.
Okay, okay.
All right. Okay, so yeah, as you just mentioned, the Batman VR. I mean, I could say that to later on, but yeah, I just need to talk about that game. That game was freaking awesome. In terms of like a first VR experience, this was the first time that I've actually thought, after that Ready Player One type of mechanic, where you can actually feel that you're in that world.
Yeah.
That was the closest thing to me. You were Bruce Wayne, you were Batman, you were the Cape Crusader, you were Batman. Even when he was a kid, all the way to his, when he's older. And the way the story actually integrated as well with the Arkham series, I thought was on point. The way that you interact with these weapons, the way they utilize the gyro and the controls, it was just a great VR experience, and I don't think it kind of spoiled me really because there hasn't really been anything of an IP such as Batman, which has utilized VR in that particular way, and I think yeah, I mean, there's lots of talks of there was an Iron Man version as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
But I think if they do rework that and they do take a lot more pages, and not just take the whole book and just copy what Warner Brothers was able to do with Batman VR, then they'll be onto a winner. But yeah, that would be my top five, my number five.
Okay, my number 5 is Ghost of Tsushima. What a flipping game. Just what a game. It's everything I wanted. I always want. It's the best. It's the Assassin's Creed game everybody wanted, which was samurai based, right? I mean, you've got a Sony first party game. So it already technically looks stunning. But what made this game unbelievable was it was an open world game with samurais, next to no load time on PlayStation 4. That is by far, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima's load times is the biggest technical marvel in that entire generation for me. Just the fact that there was barely any. It has the greatest title screen in any video game ever is that one. But it was just the fact that you are a samurai conflicted with the heritage of being a samurai and fighting like a samurai, or fighting in a way to win a war against the Mongolian invasion. And the visuals were stunning. The combat is some of the best I've still played to this day. And the narrative, oh man, this is why I keep saying, Alex, that Ghost of Tsushima is your dream game. But you haven't even played it yet. So you need to hurry up and get on it because it's so
I haven't, yeah,
flipping
I haven't completed
good.
it, but I have actually played the first level, and yeah, it does look like it's set to be an amazing
It's
experience,
so good, man.
definitely.
It is so good. So for number 5 for me is Ghost of Tsushima. All right, moving on.
Okay, moving on. We're gonna jump to a game that we have repeated so many times on this show, that being Tekken 7. Tekken 7.
I didn't even mention
Amazing.
Tekken 7 in my.
I know you didn't. I know you didn't. See, I've whooped your ass so
No,
badly
mate. You know
that
what?
like you were
It's Tekken Dark
scarred from even.
Resurrections. Tekken Dark Resurrection set such a high bar that no Tekken has come close to it
It
yet.
did. It did. All right. Well, I got 40 seconds to say that. Yeah, Tekken 7 is. I mean, it was like when Bandai Namco got used to using the Unreal Engine, and yeah, the mechanics were slightly off, but they had the graphical prowess of the PlayStation 4, and it just turned into an amazing experience. The graphics were there, the fluidity of the combats, was improved from Tekken 6, and after playing Tekken 8, they've just obviously improved and made everything a lot more smoother. We've got new mechanics coming soon, so for that alone, I mean, the amount of ass whoopings that I've given, obviously I've taken a couple of myself, but only a few. But yeah, it it definitely has to put Tekken 7 into the top 5, without a doubt. And I know you'd attest to it as well. I know you missed it out because of PTSD and stuff
Nah.
like that.
Tekken 7, Tekken
It's
7
all
was a
right.
good. It was a great game. Like I said, there was just so much greatness. Greatness awaits. That's what the PlayStation 4 slogan was. Remember, and they definitely
Was
didn't
it?
lie. But they lied at the first
I thought
few
it was
years.
no. I thought it was play only for the players. I thought that was the PlayStation
Yeah, and it
slogan
was like greatness awaits
for
as
the
well.
players. For the players.
For the players was
Yeah.
the launch, and then Greatness Awaits came out, and then there was the amount of greats on there, and that great. And I forgot this was even a PlayStation 4 at number 4. Apropos, Uncharted 4. The fact that Uncharted 4 was on PlayStation 4 and I completely forgot about it until I went to my trophy list tells you how crazy it is. But yes, Uncharted 4 was my fourth favorite PS4 game. And again, if that is fourth, what the hell was one, two, and three, right? But just what a game, you know, the absolute pinnacle of the Nathan Drake trilogy on PlayStation 3. So to get Naughty Dog just releasing the perfect Indiana Jones game on PlayStation 4 was unbelievable. The game had the beautiful visuals. It was a nostalgic trip for anyone who's played the Uncharted games as well. And it was just an absolute masterpiece. You know, people talk about Insomniac today and the set pieces that you play through. They are amazing, but Naughty Dog was doing this shit on PS3 with the Uncharted franchise, you know. So Uncharted 4, highly recommend it. If you haven't played it, it is available in the Thieves Legacy Collection, which is on PlayStation Plus. So if you have extra or premium, you can play it. But yeah, that is my fourth. So we're into the top three, mate.
The top three. Okay, so for me, for top three, PS4. Yeah, what am I gonna say? I've got to throw Spider-Man in there. Obviously, I mean, why wouldn't we speak about Spider-Man? You know, it was all right. The best Spider-Man 2 I'd ever played before this Spider-Man was, I think, Spider-Man 2, and that was done by Activision.
Yeah,
all the
back
way
on the
back in the
PlayStation
day.
2.
And like that was released after the Spider-Man film with Tobey Maguire back in the early 2000s, and I think that was the first time they actually created a game which you could actually feel like you were swinging through the city. And then they had like a kind of anime version game afterwards, but ever since then, it's just been the same thing over and over again, and nothing's really changed or evolved. But until Insomniac got their hands on it, and my God, did they do well with this franchise? I mean, they just took it, split it apart, took all the best aspects of what people want in a game, and they were able to compile it into an amazing gaming experience firsthand. Secondly, the graphics and visuals were on point, and then thirdly, knowing that it's actually a comic book, and it's obviously been based on games, films, and obviously the various different iterations of Spider-Man, they worked on a storyline, and they had a voice cast as well, which supported the story that they worked on, and then they made one of the most engaging interactions with this IP that we've known for many years, which even Hollywood can't even contest with, you know. And that's the beautiful thing about games, that they can dip into all genres, you know, all of them, you know, and you've got plenty of time to just soak with the characters, explore them, and then just have a lot of fun with them and just see how far they can go. And Insomniac has proven it, man. So yeah, that's why the Spider-Man 2018 edition is definitely right out in the top 5.
Nice.
How about yours?
My number 3 is The Last of Us 2. Yes, it didn't finish first or second for me. So the fact that The Last of Us 2 is number 3 tells you that the 2 games above it must be special. But I mean, what do you say about The Last of Us? It's got a Vita in it. End of. That's all I gotta say. But what a game. You can count on single digits in the history of gaming where everything is flawless and it all just gels and every aspect of the game works. And The Last of Us 2 is one of those games. Just what a game. I don't even know what to say about it, mate. What a game. If you haven't played The Last of Us 2,
just awesome.
Remastered is out in January, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait.
Awesome, man. You know, after playing the first one, like, oh my days, it's like I needed more. And like, I couldn't have obviously played it at a better time because I went straight on to the second one. And yeah, in terms of like narrative story, which is obviously what Sony and PlayStation's all about, this is top tier. You know, it's top tier. It has you coming back. I mean, it's so good that, yeah, you're playing it, you're amazed. But anybody watching you is also amazed, and they also want to see what's happening. And this is a unique experience that you don't get anywhere else. So, yeah, man. And now it's on TV.
Yeah, well, the Last of Us 2 story specifically is coming, but the game, you know what it is? It was just brutally beautiful. Like, the violence made sense in that game and in that world, and the narrative was strong. The total character switches, everything about it, the beat, everything was just on point. Perfect game, man. Perfect game. Yeah. All right, number 2, mate. What is your number 2?
Okay, number 2. All right, then. So, yeah, one which has been thrown out there earlier on in your chart, which was actually one of my favorite games on the system by Quantic
Detroit. I knew it.
Detroit? Say what? Yeah, the same city that Eminem is from. Detroit, Michigan, set in 20 wherever it was.
Let me just put this in there. I don't know if you've seen it, but somebody recreated the 8 Mile rap battle in Fortnite because Eminem's in Fortnite and they got the Captain America model guy in and he's battling it and they put the sound in and everything. It's so cool. You need to watch it. But anyway, back to Detroit.
Back to Detroit, definitely check that one out. But Detroit, yeah, amazing. Again, like we're talking about narratives, we're talking about gameplay. The visuals on this game was absolutely awesome, and I think it's an experience that I don't think I've ever had before, where you actually get to play an android, in a real world scenario. And the questions that this game posed are things that we're going to have to contend with today and for the future. And Quantic Dreams, I mean, obviously they did Heavy Rain previously, and I can't remember the previous one before that. Was it Fahrenheit? But yeah, the choice-based games, the fact that they incorporated that, the decision-based with the action as well as just keeping it like it was like a Hollywood movie, yet still being so topical, as well as making us question what does life actually mean. I mean, these are some experiences that you can't really get anywhere else. And again, the voice actors were perfect, the visuals were on point, but the fact is that one of the weirdest things in this game was the CEO of the droid company in this game. Ladies and gentlemen, go check it out. Find out who the CEO of, I can't remember exactly what, I think it was Cyberdyne, I can't remember the actual name in Detroit, but does he not look like a dead ringer for Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI? He is a more buffed version of him, man. It's so weird. And I think Quantic Dream just had, you know what I mean? Obviously, they had the foresight. They knew exactly what was going on. But anyway, an amazing game. Definitely recommend it. And that's why it is in my top 5. Oh, sure.
Well, a couple of things. It was Beyond Two Souls when you were talking about Quantic Dream games. So it was, Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain, and then Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And if I'm correct, it wasn't Cyberdyne. I think that was Terminator. I think you're thinking Cyber Life.
Cyber
Life. Cyber Life.
Cyber Life. Yeah.
Okay, my number 2, mate. What could possibly sit above The Last of Us 2? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's just the most immersive open world game of all time. Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, what a game.
Yeah.
If there was a game that needed a remaster so I could play it again, this is the one. Red Dead Redemption 2. I said it for years and I've always said it. It is the most immersive, alive, open world game ever made. And the only thing that comes close to it is like Horizon Forbidden West in terms of just a world being alive, Spider-Man 2 does really well as well, but
does very well.
Red Dead Redemption's narrative was so powerful and strong. I would finish playing the game, go to sleep, and go through the day thinking about the game and what I'm going to do next, and playing as your character in the game and just being able to like there was a glitch at the beginning of the game where you could spawn loads of gold bars to get loads of money and be rich in the game. So I could just dress up and do my beard and customize as much as I wanted in that game, make my horse look sick and all that stuff. And oh, dude, the game was so good. It was just so immersive. It's one of the few games that has just pulled me in and immersed me into a game so much that wasn't just down to the narrative, if you know what I mean. And the game is perfect. We just spoke about in the PlayStation quiz, one of the question you gave me about the Metacritic. You can see why it's joint at the top. And we always get shocked at it, Alex, every quarter when we do the financial results and we see that Red Dead is just constantly selling 50, 55, 58 million copies for this one game. Makes it great. So Red Dead Redemption is my number 2. Number uno, mate. What is your greatest PS4 game of all time?
Numero uno. Now, I'm just gonna take a left to give the alternative flavor. Yeah, I could have said one of the greats like God of War. I could have said, Last of Us, Horizon. Even these are all amazing games, which obviously we've mentioned. Red Dead Redemption, but the greatest game, if not and/or experience that I've had on the PlayStation 4.
You're gonna say
You already
VR.
knew. You already knew.
VR,
Take a left. I've got to say, super hot is
Oh, I knew
the
you were
best.
going
Yeah,
VR,
I
mate.
got to put it up there, man. It's just like it had to be, man. It had to be. That game is amazing. It's just simply amazing. You know, it didn't have all the bells and whistles of all the other games that you've gone to know and love. You know, in the PlayStation family, but Superhot has just got something unique. You know, it was obviously taking massive elements from the Matrix, using bullet time, but only with its simple two-tone aesthetic, you know, and also utilizing the motion, the way you move was innovatively done. You know, I don't think any game has really captured that type of uniqueness. And I can't even remember exactly which company created it, but yes, this is exactly when creativity and technology is just on point, and they had it right with Superhot. So next to Batman VR, it has to be Superhot, you know. And until I see more games like this, man, it's like you can't beat it. You can't beat it, and they've done it simply. You know what I mean? They had the whole Nintendo aesthetic, you know what I mean, which is just make something amazing with something so simple. You know, and I think that at the core elements of most games, yeah, you can have all the bells and whistles, but if you can't have that gotcha moment that will just keep you playing endlessly, regardless of how sweaty you are or what time of the day it is or how drunk you are, you know what I mean? You haven't got a great game, and that game ticks all those boxes for me. So, super hot or super hot
And
is my
I
number one.
can back up Alex's claims because he was playing it at my house, and I've never seen him so engrossed in a video game in my life.
I was Neo,
Thinking,
man. I was Neo.
I was just about to say, thinking
It's
he's
so
Neo,
sick.
bending
Oh
forward, bending
man.
backwards. I'm like,
Yeah,
bro, you're
if
gonna
you
hurt
want to,
yourself. You're gonna
if
hurt
you want to,
yourself.
it's true. But if you want to lose weight, man, I mean, that is definitely one of the games. You know, it'll definitely
It
keep you
didn't
active because
help
you
that
have to
every
move.
time you played it, you were fueled by Jack or Haig,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, Jack
You
was
had Jack
definitely
Daniels or Haig in your system as you were
Jack was
playing the game,
present.
right? Um, so that adds
Definitely
to
a
it.
fun
But
time.
I can just and that's what people probably thinking that can't be number one, blah blah. But it's all about what you like. What video game did you enjoy? You know, that's why you've had a variety of VR in our lists and different types of games. And yeah, I can remember just how happy you were and how much you were laughing playing Superhot. So that explains why. And my number one, of course, I'm gonna say it, ladies and gentlemen. WW. I'm only joking. God of War 2018. Obviously, it's my greatest game of all time. I absolutely love everything. The one take on PlayStation 4, unbelievable. The sound, the narrative, the combat, the visual. There's not one aspect of the game that you can say around where I say, yeah, that's an 8 out of 10. It's all 10 out of 10. The
Mm,
side missions were unbelievable. You don't even find them unless you stumble on them. Like the whole
yeah,
dragon sequence, you can just completely miss it and not get any of it, right?
yeah,
It's so good. And as again, it's weird, it's a video game, it's set in like super fantasy and stuff like that. But as a father and with a son, and you play that game, you kind of relate to it a little bit in terms of the relationship that he's trying not to be angry with his son and stuff like that. And holy shit, what a game! You know, what a
yeah,
flipping game. God
yeah.
of War.
It's a great angle. Definitely a great angle. I've played that as well, and yeah, I can definitely attest to everything that you're saying about that game. Awesome experience, and it's like it seems like that's now the narrative that people want to go down now, and it like that
Mm.
whole
That's why
mental
Wolverine needs to be
mentee.
like that, man. It needs to be like God of War. But I tell you what, like everyone says, yeah, Ragnarok's better, Ragnarok's better. And as a video game, Ragnarok plays better. But for me personally, 2018 was just fresh. It was the first one. It was
Yeah,
unexpected to be played that way, you know. And
yeah,
the
definitely.
PlayStation 4 on God of War's running on x86 Jaguars, man. Holy motherfucking shit. But like the PlayStation 4, and if you've seen the film Armageddon with Bruce Willis and that, it is literally what the PlayStation 4 sounded like leaving on a jet plane as I was playing God of War, because it sounded like a jet plane as I played God of War. I had to
Yeah,
play with a headset because all I could hear was the PlayStation 4. And I didn't have to turn the heating on. The PlayStation 4 heated the living room for me.
keeping
I
it
was
all for you.
sweating playing that game because it was so hot, but I had to play it.
Yeah,
It was so good. What a game. Well, there you have
yeah,
it, ladies and
indeed.
gentlemen. Our top
That is it.
games. God of War for me as my favorite PlayStation 4 game, and Superhot VR for Alex as his greatest PlayStation 4 game. Thank you very much for listening, and we're so happy that PlayStation 4 has turned 10. We were there for day one on the launch. You know, day zero. Actually, we've been there for day one on every PlayStation, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty much. Yeah,
geez, baby. Oh, geez. But the PlayStation
yeah.
4, what a console. Happy birthday. Piss off now. We're in a PS5 world.
You know, I was gonna say something else afterward, but that's just perfect, man. That is just.